Good day, YouTube. Well, I've spent all day climbing around in Chem-Trail journals and aerosol injection white papers, and I've found a lot of interesting stuff and a lot of stuff that just has blown my mind, and my brain is just dead. I've been at this for about 8 hours now. I want to go over some of the gems right now until I get a more um, put together how I'm going to do all this, because there's so much information. I'm going to have to do it over several videos, I think. So I've been looking at the American Meteorological Society's journals. A lot of these things you find through Google Scholar. It's hard to if you just search for stuff, you won't find it. You have to go through that. But this is basically a paper. Um, this systematic changes in cloud radiative forcing with aerosol loading for deep clouds in the tropics. Okay, that's a fancy word for saying um, how much radiation is actually being kept from the surface of the earth by um, by spraying chemtrails in the skies, or using seeding clouds with aerosols and making clouds from aerosols to block out this radiation. So this is from 2015 now. This I have gone back, and I can start the actual um, first two satellites that were put up to really monitor these aerosol effects were called Terra and Aqua, and they were put up in 2002. So from 2002 to 2014, they have really been doing the tests. And the tests, as you will see, have been on us. We have been guinea pigged by these fuckers. And while they just played around until they trial and errored and figured out what they were doing to play God and take control of our weather. And and you will see in this that they really still are not completely sure what the hell they're doing. They have a better grasp of it, but in the end, I don't see the point. All I can see is they talk about the ozone, but, well, let's just go on here. You'll see what I mean. Okay, the abstract for this paper. It has been widely recognized that aerosols can modify cloud properties, but it remains uncertain how much the changes and associated variations in cloud radiative forcing are related to aerosol loading. Using 4-year of A-Train satellite products generated from CloudSat, the Cloud Aerosol Lidar, an infrared pathfinder satellite observation satellite, and the Aqua satellite, the authors investigated the systematic changes of deep cloud properties and cloud radiative forcing. Remember this, with respect to changes in aerosol loading over the entire tropics. So, in other words, they sprayed this shit all over the tropics, and distinct correlations between CRF and aerosol loading were found. Okay. Systematic variations in both shortwave and longwave CFR. Okay, this is talking about shortwave radiation and longwave radiation coming in from space to Earth. Okay, they're talking about what the findings were of the aerosol they sprayed and how it affected the radiation. Okay. With increasing aerosol index over oceans and aerosol optical depth over land for mixed phase clouds. Okay, this means that they've made clouds from aerosol that you could see. Okay, it so it's so thick of a film in the sky that you can see it. That's when they say optical depth. That's what that means. You can see the cloud in the sky, the aerosol in the sky. Over land for mixed phase clouds. Mixed phase clouds were identified, but mixed phase clouds are like real clouds and the fake clouds that they make from aerosol. Okay. But little change was seen in liquid clouds. This is like our rain clouds. The systematic changes are consistent with the microphysical effect and the aerosol invigoration effect. The aerosol invigoration effect is seeding normal clouds with aerosol. Okay? They're invigorating it with aerosol. And they have like 5 different, we'll go into that later. Although this study cannot fully exclude the influence of other factors, attempts were made to explore various possibilities to the extent that observation data available can offer, assuming that the systematic dependence originates from aerosol effects. Changes in CFR with respect to aerosol loading were examined using satellite retrievals. Mean changes in shortwave and longwave CFR from very clean to polluted conditions ranged from, okay, here you go. See, they have I mean, it's science, so they have to factor in the pollution levels, the dust, the everything that's going on in addition to this that they're adding to make sure that it's the aerosol that's actually causing the effects that they're seeing. So, okay, we'll move down here. Introduction. By acting as cloud condensation nuclei and or ice nuclei, aerosol affect Earth's energy budget. Aerosols affect Earth's energy budget through the modifications of cloud properties. Okay? So aerosol spraying has an effect on radiation on the Earth's energy. Okay? Which is often referred to as aerosol indirect effect. I call it chemtrails. A greater number of smaller cloud droplets formed in a dirty environment suppresses collision and coalescence processes and thus delays or inhibits rainfall. Catch that right there? This suppression has been investigated using measurements made during several aircraft campaigns in different regions of the world. Spraying aerosol. Aircraft campaigns in your region, including tropical clouds in the Amazon, hailstorms in Argentina, a winter storm in California, winter clouds in Israel, and summer monsoon clouds in India. Comparing the relationship between visibility and precipitation in Hua Mountain and stations on the neighboring plain in central China, found that both orographic precipitation and summer thunderstorms were suppressed by aerosols. So, they can stop the rain and stop the storms by spraying shit in the sky. How many people died? You go back and look at the droughts for this period. All of this weather that happened in these places through these years were caused by aerosol injections to the clouds. Your government globally manipulating your weather, okay? If there was I don't know, I haven't gone back and looked yet, but if there was any damage done or anything like that, it can be directly correlated to these tests and experiments that they were doing all around the world. without telling anybody. We weren't asked if this was okay. You understand? This was done whether we liked it or not, which is not fucking American. Okay. Comparing the relationship between visibility and precipitation in Hara Mountain and stations on the neighboring plain in central China found that both orographic precipitation and summer thunderstorms were suppressed by aerosols. Also found that rainfall over the La Plata Basin was suppressed by aerosols. As a result of rain suppression, clouds made up of smaller droplets may reach higher levels in the atmosphere. Once the freezing level is reached, ice processes begin, and more latent heat is released to invigorate the vertical development of the cloud. This phenomenon is referred to as the aerosol invigoration effect. Okay, catch that now, because this AIV is important, which has been observed from aircraft measurements, satellite data, and long-term ground observations. The effect has been modeled with cloud resolving models and explained by a conceptual theory proposed by Rosenfeld and a revised theory in 2013. Whether aerosols invigorate or suppress cloud and thunderstorms seem to depend on the joint effects of aerosol radiative and microphysical effects. Let me read that again. Whether aerosols invigorate or suppress cloud and thunderstorms seems to depend on the joint effects of aerosol radiative and microphysical effects. Suppression for absorbing aerosols and enhancement for hygroscopic aerosols. Both observational and modeling studies have shown that the invigoration can lead to changes in cloud geometry, precipitation, lighting activities, lighting activities, and even the strength of tropical cyclones. Okay, do you hear what they're saying here? The things they're spraying in the sky can stop the rain, stop the thunderstorms. It can have an effect on ice and hail and lightning and cyclones. Okay? Midweek peaks in lightning frequency and the probability of severe convective storms seen during the summer in the eastern United States have been observed to coincide with peaks in the amount of anthropogenic aerosols. Okay? You hear that? Hypothesized that the invigoration could lead to the convergence of air into the eye walls of tropical cyclones, making them more deadly. Killer cyclones, killer hurricanes. Florence, which would decrease maximum wind speeds. This was supported by observations of how variations in aerosols accounted for an 8% variation in the intensity of Atlantic hurricanes. Okay? This was supported by observations of how variations in aerosols accounted for 8% variation in intensity of Atlantic hurricanes. So they're playing around with the mix right here. Okay? And this was in 2011, 2007. Okay, they've adjusted the mix up now, and they know exactly how much they need to put in of what to do what they want with a hurricane. Have also shown that both precipitation and net cloud radiative forcing over the northwestern Pacific are enhanced by Asian pollution via the invigoration of winter cyclones. So by them making winter cyclones, okay, so they're saying that shown that both precipitation, so rain, and net cloud radiative forcing, so rain and clouds that are thick enough to absorb radiation from space over the northwestern Pacific, are enhanced by Asian pollution caused by aerosol injections causing winter cyclones, from winter cyclones. A review of aerosol effects on the intensity and microphysics of tropical cyclones has been given by Rosenfeld. That name just, I can't stand that name. Maybe it's because of the Rosen guy that was recently on trial with the Trump thing. He just looks like a fucking weasel. Anyways, I digress. While a review of general aerosol effects on convective clouds and precipitation has been summarized by Tao, while the invigoration and ensuing effects have been studied extensively, few studies have been done on the radiative forcing associated with the invigoration have stimulated the RF of radio, I'm going to see, make sure that's radio frequency, of tropical deep convective clouds. The influence of aerosol showed up in several ways. For a thick convective cloud, where the albedo effect of the cloud is nearly saturated, the negative effect induced by aerosols was small. The invigoration effect can cause cloud tops to reach greater heights while keeping their albedo fixed at the nearly saturated value for thick clouds. The colder cloud tops emit less thermal radiation to space. The colder cloud tops emit less thermal radiation to space, so they induce a positive RF. However, for optically thinner clouds, both shortwave and longwave forcing can be strong. They're called forcing is because it's coming in from space, forcing its way through the clouds. Okay, that's why they're saying it like that. The invigoration can produce warming or cooling based on the particular combination of macro and micro physical properties. In other words, they can invigorate and cause warming or cooling based on the stuff that they're using. Okay? At night, however, warming due to the invigoration can be very strong, leading to a daily mean heat net warming effect. Okay, that's important. Aerosols are involved in the expansion of anvils through the aerosol microphysical effect rather than the invigoration, which produces more semi-transparent ice clouds. This causes a strong positive RF. The overall net radiative effect associated with the invigoration is a function of three cloud parameters: height, extent, microphysics. And the diurnal variations, a call for further studies to investigate this net effect was made at the recent World Climate Research Program Climate Science meeting. Okay, this basically goes on to say they also used a wide variety of other observational data and model simulations to investigate if the dependencies were driven by anything other than aerosols. You know, they're doing their science. So, okay. Date and methodology. 4 years, 7 to 10 of cloud data. NASA CloudSat project. From CloudSat and the Cloud Aerosol LiDAR and infrared pathfinder satellite observation, Calypso satellites, and aerosol data from Goddard, from the moderate onboard aqua platform over global tropics, are used. This region was chosen because of the ubiquitous presence of convective clouds for which the invigoration is more significant. The horizontal resolution of the cloud products Okay, this, what they're saying here, the horizontal resolution of the cloud products is 1.4 kilometer by 1.1 kilometer, and the vertical resolution is 240 meters. Modus aerosol products include level 3 AOD at 550 nanomicrons, I would say, and the angstrom exponent gridded over a 1 degree by 1 degree box. The gridded data were generated by averaging level 2 data, which shows good agreement with ground-based observations. They literally go through here and tell you exactly how the streaks across the sky are grids that they do, and these are all mapped out to, I mean, to do science. They're there, and they're done that way for a specific reason. They're not just up there like, I mean, they are trying to saturate the sky more, but what I've learned from this is it's not so much about covering the sky as it is about making the clouds. And from the amount of shit that they're spraying up there, and how they're having to cover so much area now to stop the forcing, as they call it, of radiation, I think that they have fucked up and stopped the natural accumulation of normal clouds, and they're having to make them now, all of them, because the things that they've done in the sky has stopped the natural clouds from forming, or they have just stopped them from forming and started making them on their own to have a better grasp of the effects of this thing, because then there's no variables. There's no variables if they are making all the shit, you know? So that takes out the variables. But all of these chemicals that they're spraying on this, CBT, hold on, 3 cloud types, significantly different responses to the invigoration. Warm base mixed phase clouds, cold base mixed phase clouds, liquid clouds. This is going through and showing how all the normal clouds react when they spray this shit into them and they seed them with the aerosol. How they respond to the different types of chemicals. This is going all the way back from the beginning now, remember. This is all through the research and all through the data that they've collected through all these years. We're in 2018, people. This shit is done. I mean, they've already concluded and done what they're going to do. And for me going back and looking at this, all of these storms and stuff, hurricanes that hit, they were all manipulated and caused by this. Let me see what it's called here for you now, because they've got a specific name for this program. Let me see where it is. Okay, this is a good one I'm going to do in the next video. Global evaluation of the Collection 5 Modus Dark Target Aerosol Products over land. That's a fun one. But, here we go. What do they call this thing now? They've got a name for it. Aerosol cloud precipitation climate interaction. No, there's an actual name for the program that I will come up with. I'm trying to keep my videos short because the upload speeds are so bad. So I'm gonna make a bunch of short videos on this. So if I've kind of been vague or left out something, don't worry, I will get to it. I'll come back around on it. I'm signing out for the moment. Hope y'all enjoyed that.